Hello and welcome to Community Connections. I'm Brian Anderson, City Administrator for the City of Faribault. With us today we have Mayor Jasinski to help us out with our first episode for 2016. Welcome, Mayor.
Hey, thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Well, what I wanted to do today was to talk about our accomplishments in 2015 and look a little ahead in 2016 to see what's coming down the pipe. So one of the big things that we did in 2015 was we did a Community Vision 2040 is what we call the plan. We're looking 25 years out. We received a lot of input. There was a lot of discussion. We did hire a consultant, Craig Rapp, to come in and do that information for us. So we got the information. We got it approved. That was a big undertaking. How does the council feel about that as far as the items within the Community Vision?
I think the council overall is very happy with it, as well as the community. I've heard a lot of positive things, and not only just the community, but I mean, I hear from the county, I hear from the school district. Everybody's very happy that we went ahead with that, and we're proactive in seeing what's going on. And again, it has to get updated. Things change over time, so what we thought was going to happen 25 years ago, some did, some didn't. So we need to relook at that and then find out what our priorities going forward and see what the community wants. And it's been great input. A lot of people got involved, which was good. Everybody got their chance, either a meeting in a box or a community forum or things like that. So it was very good, and I was very happy we went through it. And again, going into it, the thing that I always concerned about is if you do a study, because a lot of people out in the public say, oh, they're doing another study and they're going to put it on the shelf and it's going to be some study. Well, we're not. We're actually going to use this study. We're updating the comp plan as part of this Vision 2040. And a lot of you on your property taxes will see our taxes did go up a bit. We've tried to hold those taxes increases very low for several years because of the downturn in the economy. But what this Vision 2040 showed us is that the community really wants more police officers on the street and things like that. So we actually did, and again, it's not always a popular thing to do that, and it's something that I am very touchy about doing. But I think since we've held off for so long on tax increases that we really needed to do this because this is what the citizens were asking for.
No, so we already did implement some of the Community Vision 2040 again with the 6 strategic themes that we went through. Some of those were incorporated in the budget for 2016, and that's what the mayor is referring to. So whether it's the vibrant downtown or more police force or economic development, those are the things that are directly related and directly came out of the Community Vision 2040. And again, you touched on the comp plan. That's going to be going on. That is going on right now. Again, the community is going to have a huge opportunity to provide public input. So please keep watching our Facebook and keep watching the website for more information on that. Community development. Now, we did have a lot of action, a lot of activity and expansions going on. And they always say about 60 to 70% of new growth has actually come from expansions of existing business. So with that, we had Faribault Foods, and I know you were involved with that because
I was very happy to be involved in that. Again, that's a great project for Faribault. And again, we've talked about economic development for years, and every once in a while you get someone that comes in from out of the area that actually comes to Faribault. But really, as Brian said, 80 to some percent are people actually seeing businesses within Faribault growing or expanding, and that's the thing that really makes us feel good, and we're excited about. So yeah, that's a huge project. Again, my hat's off to Gary Kinseth. He's been a community fixture here forever, and him being involved in this project, I think had a lot to do with what Faribault Foods is going to do here in our community. And it's a great project. The property tax base is going to increase dramatically. So some of their jobs will slightly go down a little bit, but actually the jobs will be more technical. So it'll bring more higher quality jobs. And again, part of the Vision 2040, that was one of the main things, is having higher paying jobs here in the community versus unskilled labor and things like that. So the higher paying jobs are better for the community as a whole. So that Faribault Foods project is fantastic. We're very excited about it. It's going to keep the council very busy. They'll be on the agenda almost every week, and something a council member for one issue or another, or something to get that going. And I think that starts sometime in the spring, and that's about 675,000 square feet added to that facility out in the industrial park. So that puts that building just around 1 million square feet under roof, which is probably the largest building in southern Minnesota. So that's great for us. And then actually the long-term effect is their plant down in 2nd Avenue will become warehousing, and all the processing will be moved out to the industrial park where it probably belongs. It's a better area for those things, less residential neighbors and things like that. So it's really doing what we wanted to do as far as planning from a planning standpoint. So it's good. And also you got Illini and Mayo doing expansion projects. Everybody knows the emergency entrance and things like that had 2 tiers and things like that. So the hospital's putting a lot of money into that expansion project.
It can be much more functional now for the people that are arriving with their loved ones or patients.
And that was part of Illini's was Alina's clinics, part of the taking over of District 1 or the assumption of those things, is to invest that money and make that hospital better in our community so people aren't traveling outside of Faribault for their health care. So that's a great project. That along with the Mayo expansion for what they want to do up there is going to make that whole campus a much bigger facility on our east side.
And you can go up there right now and you can see the iron being put out for the new expansion. So
that's on the Mayo side. Yep, correct.
Yes,
the Mayo side. Yep,
absolutely. And then we had another big one too that took place, and that is still going on right now, and that's with the Genio expansion. That's about a 17,000 square foot expansion. There's going to be a lot of equipment, new. Again, we talk about jobs and better quality jobs. They're going to have a lot more lead positions and some management jobs involved in this one too. It's about a $30 million expansion project just because of the amount of the equipment and the type of equipment that's going to go in there too. So they're reinvesting within the city as well. So, and I know the council and others are excited about that as well. Security Bank clock, that's a smaller project, but thanks to Rotary
that happened in
and others.
2015, and Rotary Club was great. And that you see up that, it's nice to see that downtown.
Right.
I remember, I think I made a comment when I first, was on when we unveiled it that day. Since I was this tall, I'd never seen it work.
No, there's a lot of people that say that. Yeah,
time is great, so it's nice to see. It's a nice, colorful thing in the evenings to see it lit up and looks great. So, and again, part of that Vision 2040 and our comp plan update really does show a lot of interest and focus on downtown, what's going on downtown, and getting downtown's more vibrant and things like that. Because again, if an industry locates to town and their executives want to look a place to live, they'll drive through downtown and see what it's like, and that helps them decide to live in the community or not live in the community. So again, we believe as a council, and I think the citizens of Faribault, what they've said in 2040 is we need that vibrant downtown to expand, and we're looking at different things in downtown as far as the housing, getting more upper end market housing, and getting rid of some of the older and the smaller and the high density units. And there's been some collaborative efforts on how to do that. So we're working on that, and that's really exciting.
So another one is for the EDA to come up with a work plan, and they have in the past too, and now with their new economic development director, Deanna Keenan, she's been here for almost a year now. So they have 4 priorities for 2016, and they're big priorities, so they're going to take longer than just 2016. One of them is due to the expansion of Faribault Foods, they're going to need more land for industrial companies, type companies to actually come to the city of Faribault, so we need to offer them something. So we're going to be taking a look to see where the new industrial park and where do we want to expand for that. Another one would be regionalism, to work better with our counties, work better with Lonsdale, Dundas, Northfield, and then the townships as well too, so we can attract more and bigger, better businesses, whether they come directly here to Faribault or if they come up to Northfield or one of the townships or one of the smaller communities too. It's all benefiting Rice County as a whole.
Councilmember Underdahl and myself were on that committee, and we've met with those folks. And as I told the mayor of Lonsdale, I said, even if a company comes to Lonsdale or New Prague or Northfield or Otana, it benefits Faribault because they are not all going to choose to live right there. As we see, a lot of people, have a reason why they want to live in a different community versus other. It may be a sports team, it may be the volleyball program at BA, it may be the hockey program at the high school. Who knows what it is? But they all live. So if there's something goes to Lonsdale, it's still benefiting Faribault, and vice versa with all these other towns. So we're actually working regionally to get things done that we need to be done as a regional for Interstate 35 or things like that we can work together with our legislators to get done at the Capitol. That's going to benefit all of southern Minnesota and the I-35 corridor.
Right. And then the other one that's going on throughout the whole state too is the workforce shortage, to make sure that we get trained employees in here, trained workforce. That's a huge offering on what companies take a look at when they go to either relocate or start up a new business, making sure that they can get the technical workforce that they're looking for too.
And Dr. Parker at South Central has been great on that, to try and get people into college, to get them technical training. And I know she's doing some seminar or some a program in February that I'm going down to try and encourage the students to get engaged in technical college. Everybody seems like you want to hear your kid go off to college, but the technical jobs are the ones that are getting filled, and they need them really bad, especially in Faribault, which is a very manufacturing-based community. So, and as he said, these projects are expanding. The jobs are more technical these days, and they're clean technical jobs, not the ones where you're getting dirty and it's all high-tech stuff. So that's great for Faribault because we have such a base of manufacturing. So again, if we can get more people trained so that more companies like that look at our base and they bring more facilities here if we have the employees to staff them.
Absolutely. Some of the other things that happened in 2015 and moving on to 2016 within our police department too. The crime-free multi-housing, that was the first year for 2015 that the plan was implemented. And thus far we've had 31 evictions of tenants that can no longer live within the city. So we're very successful in that. We had 100 landlords educated on that program, so it is a solid program, moving ahead with that. Another one is the Cannon River Drug and Violent Offenders Task Force.
That we could have came up with a shorter name.
Well, we didn't come up with that, I guess. But at least they know what we're talking about. It's pretty clear. Yeah. So with that, too, they kind of resurrected that, and that has a lot of great statistics behind it already. There's 81 community arrests, 54 of which were directly in Faribault. They seized over $300,000 in narcotics, and then they also seized $78,000 in cash, too. So if you want to know, why are we putting more officers on the streets, it's to help fund programs like this, the crime-free multi-housing, and it's to help get rid of some of the, the residents that normally undesirable ones that come with issues, and make it a right to want to live in the city of Faribault.
Yeah, and that's something that we had heard as a council, that we were, the downtown, the housing stock, the crime and things like that we wanted to get on. Again, when you're in a downturn economy and you can't be hiring more police officers, now things are coming back, and we're raising taxes a little bit to address those issues. And again, I was in the first crime-free housing because I was a property manager as well, and it's a great program. So I encourage everybody to get into that. But it makes it a little bit difficult on the property owners, the rental property owners. It's a little bit more in depth, and they have to do a few more things. But again, to clean up our housing stock and residents and things like that, everybody in the city wants to live with a good neighbor.
Right.
And if you have bad residents or crime going on in a house next door to you, you don't want that.
It affects the whole neighborhood.
It affects the whole neighborhood. So you want to do that. So a lot of times people will say, we want less government involvement, but I tell you what, when something happens next door, they want them there right away. So it does. You have to have a balancing act. But again, that was what people are saying that we needed, so we did that, and it's been a great program. Hats off to our police department and Chief Bolin, who's done that, and our Chief, or Captain Severson and Captain Peterson, who've been involved in that, and everybody else. There's many, many more that are involved, but they're doing a great job. So.
Right. A couple of things on the IT side, if you will. We did have a new website unveiling in 2015, and the reason why we did that is so it's mobile friendly, so you can take out your smartphone or Apple device, whatever it is, and you can go onto our website. It knows and it modifies the screen for you, so it's not just a real small picture that you're looking at. It's actually still legible. So that was one of the major improvements that we made with our website. You can pay the bills online now. We made that so whether you're a snowbird or you just don't want to deal with the paper anymore, you can go ahead and pay your bills online. And one of the final things was it's easier to navigate and get around. We reconfigured a few things on there. There's obviously more things on there that are of priority for people, so we put those as major function keys so it's easier to see. And so we reorganized it too. So I think the residents and businesses are going to really like it. I haven't heard anything bad about it.
And you hear a lot of residents say, well, you're spending money on it. Well, you really have to update in today's technology with the websites and things like that. And we hadn't done an upgrade on our website in a long time. And I was at one of those seminars that one of the web people talked about and said, if you can't get to where you want to click in 3 times, they usually lose interest and go somewhere else. So our new website allows you to get there, find out what you want. I'm pretty sure you can even customize it to what you want to see, things that you want to see. So if there's certain things that you're interested in, you can customize your page when you log into it, that it brings those things up. I haven't done that myself yet, but I mean, from what I understand, that was part of the thing that was going to do. So yeah, it's great.
And again, if you think about it too, if we haven't updated our website in 8 years, iPads aren't even 8 years old yet either, so that's why we needed to go ahead and do that. One of the other items too is we went with a new communications carrier, so we went with fiber, so our download and upload speeds are faster, so those people that are visiting our website are trying to download something from our website, it's actually better and quicker for them as well too. So the fire department, we have a lot of activity going on across the parking lot over there. Just started. Yep. So we have about a $650,000 renovation going on, and I think the last one was done in maybe the mid 80s. I want to say it's been some time.
I think it was 1978. I'm not sure exactly, but it's been a long time. Again, that has to get updated for the style of living that the firemen are doing.
Right.
And if we would have a female firefighters, things like that. Just the living quarters have changed a lot, how things are done there. So updating that, and again, it has hasn't been updated in so long. Those guys need something there to come up to date with what today's trends are.
So next month, we already took you through last year before the renovation, and now that the renovation's already started, we're going to go through and give you periodic updates on what that's looking like as we go through. Another one too, we ordered a truck a few months back in 2015. That should be coming out in May, I believe, so we're looking forward to that. That was another $600,000 investment that the city made. And then what do we have? The City Hall and Fire Department generator that just got installed too, and that was done in November. So should the electricity go out, everything is backed up, the generator will kick on and things will continue to serve here. And I know there's a lot of servers, and our police protection is based on that too, so it's something that we definitely needed to have installed.
And that was one that we talked about. I think it was Councilman Voracek, who, we needed one for the fire department, and we talked about one for City Hall, and actually went through and we kind of looked at the idea of having one that would serve both facilities, which is much less maintenance and things like that. It made more economic sense, so that was a good thing that we looked at.
Yep.
And council members and staff worked as well to make sure that worked efficiently for both buildings. Again, we're right here, so it worked great.
Yep. And then finally, too, with our Parks Department, we did the North Alexander Trail last year. We were successful in getting grant money for that. Heavily used trail I see already, and that's right along the river, so that's a great trail. Be sure to check it out too. Central Park Band Shell, I think that finally went through its final phase. We had to put money in the budget each year for about 4 years and stuff to go ahead and make the improvements necessary for that, just to make sure the facility is looking nice. And then the scoreboards are installed in the bottom or over at Teepee Tonka. That's the first time, I believe, that the scoreboards are there and being used. And finally, too, going back to the community vision, one thing that we saw in there, and the one thing that we own, is the old public works site that's there. So this year, within the park department too, we're going to take a look to put together a sketch plan for the park at the old public works site in the downtown area.
And what we could do with it, and
what we can do with it. And it might not all be done this year, but at least if we get something on paper, we can work towards that, and we can continue to budget for things like that too. And people want to congregate more downtown and over by the river, and make the best use of the river as well too. So I'm excited about that project as well.
And then there's one other, you haven't been involved too much yet, or we haven't been too much, but the Belfield group, there's a group from Belfield that wants to see some improvements. We have that budget in our capital improvement plan for some handicap accessibility issues that are coming up, but there's been a group of people getting involved from the Faribault Lakers and the Baseball Association to actually looking at seeing, how that money can be used not only to upgrade the handicap accessibility, but to make it more marketable. Maybe some better seating or some better concessions or a pavilion, or what they can do to get more people there. The Faribault Lakers I got involved with last year. It's a great thing in the city of Faribault to be able to go down to a baseball game for $3-4. It's great for the kids, so they don't have to spend all the money to go up to the cities and things like that and see a really neat baseball game. And so that's being done. That's exciting. So I think they're going to be looking out to try and get some community involvement and some donations to try and make that much better. And they're actually put in a vie to see if the Lakers can have their state tournament here. I think it's in 2 years. They say that the amount of money that will generate to our community is, I think, $3 to $5 million for a weekend baseball state tournament. So it'd be great.
Great. Well, that's all we have time for this month. And next month we'll be going out to Riverbend Nature Center to see what activities are out there and what you can rent and how you can keep active in the winter. Also, again, like I said, we'll take a sneak peek over at the fire department and see how the renovation is going with Chief Dienst. And with that, we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.